Much better. Good. So, and that's what kind of drives us at Statkraft Ventures. I mean, there is agreement that we need to make the world a cleaner, greener, better place. And that's easy to agree upon. But we're engineers, so, and you are entrepreneurs, engineers, so we think we can change the world around us. We can actually alter the environment around us. We don't need to go back to caves to be more resource efficient. So I think that's a common denominator that we share with all of you, and that's what's making us really, really excited about what we do. And then if you think like, what's the largest possible leverage you have, the largest possible impact you can have being an entrepreneur or an investor, our conclusion is it's probably the field of energy. Like energy does matter, right? And if you want to make the world a greener, better place, you might want to focus on that very sector of energy. And that's what we do, right? And just to give you an example, I mean, there's a strong correlation between the access to energy and the quality of life, the standard of living. So it's worth having more energy. It has to be clean though, but it's definitely, if you want to have an impact on the world as such, it's a great topic to be in. It's quite a privilege having that sector for you as entrepreneurs, for us as venture capitalists. So we think we're in a good place. And we're not the only ones finding that out, right? I mean, it doesn't need that much intelligence to figure out it's a relevant market. That's good. I mean, more people and players are recognizing that energy markets are changing, that there's a lot of business to be made, that there's a lot of change that needs to happen or is happening anyway. So it's exciting times for everybody in that sector. But there's a lot of things that need fixing, right? I mean, if you look at that slide, it really amazes me. Like if you see how unevenly power, in that case light, is distributed, it shows there is so much left to be done, right? I mean, some people travel for miles just to charge their mobile phone, and they're paying lots of money just for that single charging. So you can improve people's life tremendously, and there's also like good business opportunities, right? So a lot of change needs to happen, and is already happening, right? And just another example why I think it's the right place to be. I mean, stuff has to change, right? And the good news is, technology, the advancement of technology over the last couple of years actually made it possible that we can do much better even today. I mean, renewables are at grid parity in quite some regions, so there is actually no need anymore to really rely on, like, say, nuclear power to deliver power to more people. So that's good. And actually, it's happening, right? Change is happening. Renewables are installed, and the prospects are good. And that's really what I like, right? But at the same time, while that all is happening, it creates quite a number of new challenges. I mean, while you have that new, newly built renewables, it creates some issues on a different level. If you just look at, say, at the grid, at the electrical grid, I mean, it's just not built for lots of renewable feed-in. And that's just a side effect of what's happening, but it's also good. I mean, it's good opportunities for entrepreneurs, fixing all their problems, facilitating change, earning money doing it. And that's why we think it's great. And then the kind of entrepreneurs we're looking at is the ones that have the potential to really build great companies, changing the game, becoming large, profitable, expensive companies. And there's a set of criteria that we usually have and that I think have shared before. And I just want to focus on one thing because it's very abstract sometimes, right? And I just want to give you an example of what it actually could mean to be 10 times better. Because we all keep saying, like, startup should be 10 times better to really make an impact and disrupt markets. But it sounds somewhat abstract, I'm afraid. So I just stumbled up on an example which I find very interesting. It's not specifically energy related, but if you just imagine you want to buy a laptop in a large corporation, that's how it goes. And please read the disclaimer, it's all fictional, it's nothing to do with real life. I just want to walk you through the process. Listen carefully because there might be a quiz at the end of my slides. So, and you want to buy a laptop, right? Then you go to an internal system and you click here, if you know where to click, and if you don't, you ask somebody. And then you go there and enter stuff which you might know or don't know, or it's random numbers. And you go do this and do that, and there's like, I mean, there is tons of stuff you have to click, right? And then you're done. And probably if you done all that, if you managed all that process, good for you. Congratulations. It probably shows you're like really smart and you even more patient, which is also good. And you probably deserve working in a large company. But then there are those kind of people saying, well, that's ridiculous. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I can do that like 10 times better and earn a lot of money doing it, right? And that's the kind of people we're looking for. That's the kind of entrepreneurs we want to back, right? And I have to disappoint you, that's been solved a while ago, was just an example. But it kind of shows what we mean and that there's a lot of room to do things much better, right? So if you subscribe to all that, if that's what you say you're doing anyway, and you want to know like how we come into play, I'm just going to say a few things about how we work at Statkraft Ventures, right? So basically we are a venture capital fund with a certain sector expertise in energy, right? We're backed by Statkraft, Norwegian's hydropower group. So we have a good understanding, we think, of energy markets and what's happening there. But then we work just in the regular venture capital model, right? We want a financial return from what we invest in. We have somewhat fast decision making, and we don't want to put any limits on the startup's daily operations. I mean, the way we look at it is we want to be active board members, we want to be helpful, we want to be useful, but the entrepreneurs, the CEOs, would have to run their business because they are the entrepreneurs after all. So that's kind of our approach on that two items: venture capital on one hand side and understanding that very specific energy sector on the other side. And I mean, there's benefits, right? I mean, if you want to cooperate with our shareholder Statkraft, we can try to facilitate that. We can't promise because it's kind of hard for us as a small venture fund to influence them, but we can make intros. We find people that might be useful for you. And also we think we can take okay and well-informed investment decision because we have a certain background in that sector. Sometimes we ask people from Statkraft what they think. It's good input. I mean, I used to say there is a PhD for everything energy in Statkraft that's useful for us. It's a good data point in due diligence. But it's important that we really focus on exit, right? I mean, there's no limits whatsoever on your exit strategy, on your daily operations. So that's kind of the model that we work in. And here's just a few criteria, what we're looking for, what we can do. And it's like early phase and growth stage that we invest in, meaning there should be like some first commercial traction, and that differs like from case to case what it actually means. It should be energy and related, and I really want to emphasize related because we're not so much looking at like new generation technology, but rather anything that might have an impact on the energy value chain in the future. Usual ticket sizes are around $500,000 to $2.5 million, roughly A rounds. We're kind of flexible on that. We focus on Europe for practical reasons. And we tend to prefer having a lead role, meaning really making up our minds ourselves, understanding the deals very well, which does mean quite some work in due diligence on both sides of the table. But we think it's worth investing that time in understanding your business well to take informed investment decision, but also being a good shareholder moving forward. If that's kind of what you think, and if you think you can do things 10 times better than status quo, you should definitely talk to me after this presentation or talk to my colleagues Steffen and Stefan here during this conference. That's all I have prepared. I mean, I'm really happy having that community here, and we all really depend on you changing that sector and making the world a greener place. I'm really confident that we can all do that, given all the entrepreneurial spirit you bring in and all the great technologies you are developing. Thanks.
Who's in your portfolio?
As of today, we have invested in 2 portfolio firms. One is a smart thermostat firm called Tado, which you know. It's an alumni, I guess, of your Ecosummit. And then we have invested in a Swiss-based firm delivering a device for the distribution grid, actually managing all that feed-in from renewables, which I said earlier is quite a challenge.
Yeah.
That's very exciting, and yeah, we keep looking at a couple of more.
And you are presenting Depths at the Ecosummit Berlin next year?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, okay.
It's cool.
Cool. Thank you very much to Statkraft.